You're still right there with us. If you are just tuning in, this is Real Talk with Kike, and on the show today we have someone to analyze the federal government action for the release of Boko Haram members into public space. This sparked a lot of disagreements amongst Nigerians and it caused a lot of controversies at different political levels while creating fear within the security circles. Is this a sane action? The question is, even at this particular time, could it be a security ploy? Are there any political attachment to this decision? We will be analyzing all of these questions and controversies with our guest on the show today. She is none other than our very own DSP Cordelia. Uma will help me. I know that you've been in Central Africa to locate this place has been an issue. Oh my goodness, you guys don't want to know what she went through for her to get here today. She's an embodiment of law and a model of its enforcement. Our topic for the day revolves around the controversial action of the federal government to have released 1,400 Boko Haram members back into the society and security, and we are talking also about security generally. However, the question is this the right time with everything happening around us? But before we start diving into all of that, what has your career been like in the line of security, justice and peace to the nation?
Interesting, quite very challenging. First of all, let me say thank you that you've actually deemed it quite necessary to bring the police back here. Thank you. My career, it's a long one. Started 2012 when I enlisted as a cop. It's been quite very interesting. So, but of course, you know that with every job, just like the job that you do, there are quite enormous responsibilities. So I see the job that I do as I'm putting my life back on the line for people. So it's one of those things. You either choose life or then you choose to go ahead with people and get to do the job that you do. I'm fine. I'm all right.
And I must say that, from researching and doing some little work regarding you, digging a lot about you, I don't know the word, I think I need to emphasize on it that she's called the tigress, which means that this woman is nobody to play with. Gosh, we must comport ourselves here today. Anyways, back to the second question. We want to believe that this is a thought out decision made by the federal government. Kindly run us through this rationale for releasing 1,400 Boko Haram members. Nigerians are curious. We are curious. I am curious. At this time of the day, at this hour, what is going on?
I'm not going to say this is a tall order.
Okay.
I think that you should have brought order, like the military, the sister agencies, and to be able to, all of us come together and then collaborate to be able to talk about this.
Yeah.
But since you've actually deemed it necessary, that you think that the Nigerian police is in charge of internal security, and what you've done is that you've given us a wrong way to ask me questions. Usually, this is not about me. I'm not supposed to be talking about this or the police doing this. But again, let me say to you that if the federal government decided in their own capacity to take, the initiative to make sure that people who are deemed to be Boko Haram, and then you look at them and put them back in the society, they should have thought it quite well. They decided to take that decision on their own and get it done. But again, let me say that before the military, or I can't speak on their behalf, but I can talk about the police. But again, when you talk about the federal government, I think that we should do a correctional measure with people. And so they're saying, if people have done something wrong, they have a right to be able to say, we pardon you.
What?
And then we can bring people into the society, especially to make them part of the society. If you do, what is it called now? I call it a correctional best practice method. Yes, behavioral pattern, where you look at people and then you completely profile them. You debrief them and make sure that you put them back in the society to become human beings. You give them
in a situation like this, I don't know if you read some of the news that came up recently, where even when they were released, some of the communities actually rejected some of these people and said they don't want them here, while these people had to return back to rehabilitation camp and they had to look for another location for them. Do you think that this is actually right by federal government to have done this?
I won't be able to answer that question for the federal government. But all I can assure you is that the Nigerian government will be willing at all points in time to do what is right for this country. And of course, you know that with us, as the police, we do a correctional fit with people and make sure that security challenges that have to do with anything to do with Nigeria as internal security measure, we take responsibility. That we'll be able to be there to be able to make sure that Nigerians and everybody who stay back here, whether you're Nigerian or not, is kept safe. All I can say to you is that with this that has happened, Nigerian police is in charge of that particular security situation. That's why you have the management team of the Nigerian police, the IG, himself.
Yes.
And of course, with his management team, they're in charge completely. They don't have a security measure order to be able to say to people, commissioners of police, assistant inspector generals of police, DIGs, and everybody be hands on deck and make sure that completely you're taking charge. So all I can say to Nigerians is that the federal government is in charge. Don't worry yourself, you'll be fine. That's
all right.
it.
I think the next question for me is that, out of curiosity, do you think Nigerian can be totally free from this insurgents and the scourge of Boko Haram? Is this just a mere wish, or do you think that it's just this what's it called, or is a futuristic possibility that at some point we would have eradicated the issue of Boko Haram in our country today?
I'm going to be very quite explicit with you. Have you ever seen a free crime society in the world? Have you seen one? But all I can say to you is that all security agencies back in this country, we have been told, we have been instructed to make sure that security is brought down to the barest minimum back in this country. And like I said, the Nigerian police, that's who I represent, especially from the first CID. That's my purview.
Yes.
We're in charge.
And you are really in charge, and you've done well. I must commend you. Anyways, okay, talking about police and the department itself, I know that sometimes we know that criminals, with the help of the police in numerous cases of robbery and even kidnapping, how is the police force rebuilding this trust, and how can the bad eggs be thoroughly flushed out? Because like you said, there's no nation that is criminal free, so to speak, so what can you say about this? Because I know that people have different notion when it comes to people in uniform, and that they also work with other people behind closed doors when it comes to robbery and the likes.
You've asked me multiple questions, but I'll take them step by step. I'll be quite direct. Nigerian police, through her inspector general police and his management team, completely has done a massive reorientation of the Nigerian police to say to us, hands on deck, everybody, doesn't matter who you are, so long as you wear the police uniform, you must begin immediately to understand that you're wearing taxpayers' money, responsibility, and you must take that responsibility. So what they've done is that they brought one of the best hands of the Nigerian police to do with public perception, PR, on the name of Frankamba. I'm sure you know, one of the best we have in this country.
Sure.
An assistant, commissioner of police, quite good, massive, to be able to make sure that we go around back in this country. Commissioners of police have instruction from the inspector general of police and his management team to begin to make sure that departmental discipline is given to any erring policeman who goes ahead. Instead of deterring crime, you become part of crime. We're saying we're doing a best practice model, not a best fit. The Nigerian police is taking it. What we're doing is taking the fight back to us as officers and saying you must keep straight. Because when the head is good, then the bottom becomes good. So the Inspector General of Police and his management team, one of the best we've ever had in this country.
Yeah.
One of the best.
All
With
right.
no apologies, respectfully.
All right.
Are doing a massive orientation of the Nigerian police to say to us, and that's why they're whipping off, including myself, back to shape. And saying that everybody, you must follow
So
suit.
when you speak about orientation, I think I also need your opinion on this when it comes to the operation Amotekun that has been championed by the southwestern states. What do you make of this community police? Do you think that the security outfit is necessary, and why do you think that there are loopholes for the police department, so to speak, that actually enforce this outfit?
When you say loopholes, it's when people talk about loopholes in the police, I don't think the
Maybe
Nigerian
the
police.
inefficiencies.
No, we've never been an organization that is inefficient. We've been an organization with a lot of responsibility, and we're taking huge responsibility. That's why I call us responsibility takers.
Yeah.
And I support completely community policing. That's why you see that the Inspector General of Police is going round to be able to say, you need to say to the police the kind of police that you want. Can you become part of it? Yourself, myself, everybody. 2 times to be able to come together and get a job done. So community policing, we've always been doing this, but what we're doing now is giving community policing a corporate identity for you to understand that we're in charge. I always say to people, if you play with internal security, then you're in trouble. It means that if you play with the Nigerian police, you're in trouble. Whether you like it or not. There's no 2 ways about it back in this country. You got to understand that whether you like it or not. Community policing, you can't separate community policing away from the police. And you asked me about Amotekun.
Yeah, Amotekun.
I think that you should bring those who actually have engineered this.
I've actually brought them here. I brought the DJ of
anything to do
community
with community police. I'm partnering with people.
All right. That's good.
That's
all right.
That's
before we go on a break, I think I want to quickly ask you one more question regarding the Bayelsa Supreme Court judgment and the indictment of INEC in Bayelsa State polls as a significant in our in credibility system, more especially when it comes to the electoral process. They've carried out all sort of what's it called now, watch, and I believe that police people were also carried along under the watch of this Nigerian police, so to speak, in quotes, during all of these elections. So my question is, what do you have to say about all of this that is going on in Bayelsa State today?
I think that next time, respectfully, when you want to actually bring me to talk about, the Nigerian police is a non-partisan organization. We don't get involved in politics. We try to stay
maybe as an individual, maybe not as a police officer.
I'm wearing a police responsibility. I'm not allowed to have individual
opinion.
So I'll stay apolitical.
All right, guys. You've been listening to DSP Cordelia. There is no other person. The tigress, as they refer her to be, and she's extremely eloquent, very intelligent, and I've somehow tried to avoid some of our questions. But anyway, we will go on a quick break and return after a word from our sponsor. Do not touch that dial. This is Real Talk. All right, welcome back from the break. If you're just joining in, you're just tuning in, this is Real Talk with Kike, and we have no other person than the DSP Cordelia. In fact, I'm in love with her in Lagos. We're on the show today. She has bagged several awards from the media and other organizations. She's the most prestigious person to have in our midst today to touch on a lot of things, especially when it comes to security campaign around the country, and shed a lot of light on issues that we have in the country generally that we are all facing. But please join us by calling the phone line 0700 923 923 923 just to share some of your challenges when it comes to what the topic of the day. And of course, if you want to send a message, you can also send a message on 0817-313-6193. It's like I already crimed this number on my radio. Anyways, Nigerians, so I think it is important for our guests today to throw a lot of light when it comes to FCID information. So let me leave the mic open for her now to share a lot of information that I believe that the public needs to know, especially when it comes to where they need to go to or their rights and all of that. So here you are, open mic.
My name is Cordelia Nwawa. I'm a Deputy Superintendent of Police. I represent the 1st Criminal Investigation Department. It's called the 1st CID, Alago. As the apex of investigation in this country. So it means we have about 14 departments, where you have the CCR, Central Criminal Registry, you have Homicide, you have X-Squad, you have SEB. It's massive. It's massive. It's headed by an Assistant Inspector General of Police. The Inspector General of Police back from Abuja looked at the 1st CID and then looked at the Southwest completely. What he said is, look, we need massive representation back in the Southwest for you to be able to have investigation done. Everything to do with crime, everything to do with fraud. We have the SAS, that's the SAS back at the 1st CID. A lot of people don't know that, even to do with trafficking, human trafficking. That's another section under the 1st CID. That's where you can go, especially to do with massive fraud. Anything that has to do with checks, massive check frauds, that's where you go. Homicide, like I said, that's where you go. Debt, then you can come there. And of course, Interpol. You know that sometimes you need to extradite people back into this country. People do not know that that's where it's happening back at Alagbo. So they looked at one of the best back in security and deployed immediately an Assistant Inspector General of Police, that's AIG. His name is Mutala Usman Mani, PSCMNI.
Yes, sir.
To come back into the 1st CID, to give it a herald, to give the activity, to give the bites that we need to be able to do investigation. So rather go to Abuja, all you need to do. I'm not saying you can't go to Abuja, but this is it. We are in charge of every arm of investigation, anything to do with investigation back in this country. 1st CID, Alagbo. It's headed by an AIG, and then of course commissioners of police, deputy commissioners of police, assistant commissioners of police, and people who are as little as I am, DSPs and other ranks back there. So if you have a problem that you want to come, massive fraud, and like I said, Interpol, 13 departments actually. There's the CCR, there's forensic, there's of course the special fraud unit.
Okay.
That's what I said. You find the phones when people have done fraud. All you need to do is come back there, address the petitions, and come and talk to the first CID. We'll find what you want.
Thank you so much for sharing those information with us. But listening you talking, there's a very important question I think I need to ask you, because when I listen to you, you're so intelligent, you're so very hands-on and all of that. And I know that as a woman, there are some challenges that we face even as individuals from our corporate world and all of that. So women, female in their line of work often contend with the challenges of professionalism and male harassment. How does this translate to you in the line of law enforcement? And I want you to please help me throw some light on this. Don't pamper words. Don't manage.
I'm not going to manage it.
Okay.
My organization is a regimented organization of a female, and you know that I did not look at people who are like me as females back in the force. Were looked at as males. And then I say to you that if someone who's like me feels threatened, you feel that someone has done in a very a manner which you do not feel is right, harassment, all you need to do is talk to the Inspector General of Police. The Nigerian police give kudos to us. We do not, unless people refuse to speak up. But once you say to the commissioner that departmental discipline, they give we people like us, like gender, like you said, even though we're not regarded as female, we're regarded as men. I think the Nigerian police gives us that avenue to be able to come and say to them, this is happened, or this is about to happen, and then they take it in a very official manner. So the male folk that we work with understand where we're coming from, and they know that professionalism is the bedrock of the job that we do. We don't joke with it in the Nigerian police. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. That's the honest truth. And ever since I became a cop, I've never seen that happen to me, and I haven't heard other women talk to me that this has happened. All right. But to be honest, we have a professional open door, like I said, policy. You need to follow through. All right.
Thank you for that. Okay, so I think on a lighter note, before we go off the studio, I know that your work takes you all around the nation and round the clock. How do you strike balance when it comes to work and family obligations?
Let me use this medium to say quite clearly that I've had a beautiful career as a cop. I've learned within the job that I do that apart from the work that I do as my job as a cop, I have a home, and so the police won't stop me from knowing that I have a home. They give me that leverage. I can have holidays, so I can write and say I need to go on holidays. I relax. I play golf. I love to play golf. I love to read. I love to relax a lot. So they don't stop me. That part of my life, my private life, has nothing to altercate respectfully with my job. And the police would allow you. That's what I say to people. Don't always see us like people who are they're quite very stereotypic about us. They're always carrying arms and the rest of it. That's not true. That's a beautiful job. And I encourage people who have that, mood, that theme, that part, to want to join the police, to please become part of it and do the job that we do. And that's it. If you want us to go have a drink, why not? We'll have a drink. But we're saying, can you do it minimally and be professional with what you do? There's work time. Balance. I got to put food on the table. There's work time, and you know that these days we have to do it. Husband and wife, we have to combine and get to do it and make sure that the kids go to school and do everything. So there's mothering, there's babysitting. The police allows you to do that and have your free time. All right.
Oh no, listening to her, I think we can go on and on and on. I think let me use this to just put it out there. Or that officially, if any of my daughters wants to become a policewoman, just because of this woman, I say, yeah, let's go. Aside the fact that I have families that are in the police force. Anyway, so our closing remarks for courtesy Omoluabi personality from Goldberg is ìlọsíwájú àmàjọba níbi tí àlàáfíà bá ti wà, which means progress will continue to reign anywhere there is peace, because it is very important because of the kind of topic that we treated today, where there is harmony between us as people and where we can strive to prod into progress. And when we go beyond the cultural, ethnic, religious and sentimental divides, we set out to become a great nation once again. All right, thank you so much again for joining us in the studio today. And for our listeners, sorry, we couldn't pick any calls today. And thank you for listening. And to our honorable guest, we appreciate you for joining us today. So we will be right back for another eye-opening episode next week, same time, same station. Don't remain. I don't want to leave the studio. Take care, bye-bye, and be kind to one another.